Okay, so welcome everybody. We are going to continue. Let's just summarize what we've done so far. We're in chapter 3 of Shaar Bitachon, and he's telling us how do you achieve this level of complete bitachon. He tells you five principles. Principles are, we did the first three, we'll review them quickly, that only Hashem possesses all the qualities that make sense for you to rely on. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to rely on a human being. It only makes sense to rely on Hashem, so you have to internalize that. Number two is that Hashem is aware if you're truly having bitachon or not. Right? It's easy to say you have bitachon. It's harder to actually make it a reality. Um, and then number three is that you have to exclusively rely on Hashem. If you place trust in Hashem and in somebody else, that's not called relying on Hashem. That's called half relying on Hashem. And by half relying on Hashem, that's not complete bitachon. So now let's start the fourth principle. The fourth principle, so the one who places trust in Hashem must be extremely vigilant and make great efforts to fulfill the obligations that Hashem placed upon him in his service. He must try to, as much as he can, to perform Hashem's commandments and avoid doing that which is asur, meaning do mitzvos and don't do averos. Just as he would like Hashem to agree with him in the matters that he relies on him, so too he needs to fulfill Hashem's will. Meaning, if we want Hashem to fulfill our desires and what we're relying on Him, we're relying on Him for parnasa, for money, for example, or to find a shidduch, right? So if we want him to fulfill that will, we need to fulfill God's will. Do his will, as it says in Avos, do his will, do God's will as if it's your own will, so that he will do your will as if it were his will. Nullify your will in the face of his will, so that he will nullify the will of others in the face of your will. And he quotes several other psukim which show you that Hashem will only do good on the condition that you do good and fulfill his mitzvos. But he continues the next paragraph. So one who places his trust in Hashem, but he rebels against him. What a foolish person this is. How weak is his mind, his perception. He sees, like, look at humans, look at human relationships and human behavior. He's violating basic human behavior. Let's say you trust somebody to get something done for you and you rely on them. So let's say that person, or you're relying on somebody to get something done for you. Right? Reuven relies on Shimon to get something done, and then Shimon says, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor." Right? He says, "Don't do this." Right? Shimon has a request from Reuven, right? But ultimately, Reuven's relying on Shimon to get something done that he needs. And that person now violates the instructions that he was given on. So when word of this disobedience reaches this entrusted person, in our example, Shimon, so that's the strongest reason for him to withhold doing the thing that he relied on. So that's human behavior. All the more so if someone transgresses Hashem's laws and commandments, which Hashem promised reward to one who fulfills them and warned of punishment to one who transgresses them. That the hope of the one who trusts in him will be disappointed if he rebels against him. Since Hashem made it clear in advance that he will not be kind to those who violate the commandments, a sinner surely cannot rely on him to do things that will benefit him. And he quotes several other psukim to prove this, but I think we'll stop there. That is the fourth principle of bitachon, that in order for Hashem to carry out your will, you have to carry out the will of Hashem and do mitzvos and don't do averos. Everyone have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Rory.